We begin with the first caprice. Look carefully at how the melody is divided by the stems going up and stems going down. It is a rare practice in flute music notation, but we should be able to bring out the two distinct lines and make these color contrasts on the flute. Think of it as a duet with yourself. Bring out the individual parts by changing the color, timbre, and style, perhaps varying the vibrato speed on certain notes. Pay particular attention to the phrasing. Translating the German, we read moderate quarter. I take this at a comfortable tempo. I emphasize the deliberate beat that he wants, as well as bringing out the quality of the two-voice melody line. Karg-Elert states that, quote, these caprices take the classical technique of Bach, Handel, and Mozart as their starting point and pass rapidly to the style of today, end quote. So, try to broaden the eighth notes in the opening to reflect the Baroque character. If you bring out the motive, you will convince your listener. Breaths can be taken once in the beginning, in measure 3 before the E, in measure 5 before the E, after measures 7, 9, 12, and in measure 13 after the E to set up the leggero quality in the next passage. Breathe again in measure 16 after the high G and after measure 19. Near the end of the caprice, you will see a rallentando that also says in German B-R-E-I-T, breit, which means broad in English. Please remember to broaden, especially when you are arching over the top of the phrase. Breathe after the low F in measure 22, and again after the low G in measure 23. Your last breath can be taken after the staccato G in the final measure. Add a little time for that last low C. There is not a fermata on the last note, but hold it long enough so that we know that the end has been reached and it is declamatory. I will remind you constantly throughout this lesson that a breath that is longer yet musical is more beautiful than one that is hurried and for which you have to gasp. When I was a younger player, this was one of my hardest lessons to learn. Think of this as a great Baroque prelude to these 30 caprices.